Every rule has an associated cost, be it in time, money, or lost opportunity. If you learn to strategically break the right rules, you might regain all of them. Take Game of Thrones. It refused to play by the rules. The good guys didn't always win. The bad guys didn't always lose. But the show racked up awards. What might you achieve if you learned which rules to tinker with? Start by asking the right question. Say you need to feed people in a drought-stricken land. If you start by asking, what crops should we grow, you've already gone wrong. Turns out, by farming fish, you can save more water. Similarly, if you believe that your store sells 16-inch drill bits, you're already doing it wrong. You actually sell 16-inch holes in walls. Always start by understanding the real goal and work out from there. So why don't we do this as a matter of course? Why are we so caught up in rules of our own creation? And why do we do things the way they've always been done? Well, there's actually a fairly simple answer to that. We're taught to. Our schools today follow the same model as an Industrial Revolution-era factory. Your children produce in set lines for a certain number of hours and wait for the teacher, to ring the bell so that they can go home. And we get used to doing things the way they've always been done. But taxi drivers didn't invent Uber, and bankers didn't invent PayPal. It takes rule breakers to see and perceive new ways of doing things. Problem is, it's hard. It's hard because we value the old ways of doing things. We like to tinker with the old ways and to cherish them over time. Like Kodak, who tinkered with their film in the face of digital and tinkered their business model right off the edge of a cliff. Nyarker splat. Or Sony, who should be what Apple Music are today. They had downloadable digital music 10 years prior, but the folks in the vinyl department thought that was a threat and closed them down. Clever rule breakers study that kind of cultural phenomenon at places like NASA, where rigid rules eventually led to real-world disasters. Do you have an organization that is so rule-bound that it is heading for disaster? Folks, my name is Douglas Kruger. I'm the author of a book called They're Your Rules, Break Them. And I'd like to share with you a few simple thought exercises you can do to see clever ways to innovate and become a strategic rule breaker. Start by asking a very simple question. Ask, where has this rule, or which rules are people already trying to break? Anyone here ever done an illegal U-turn? You moral reprobate. In California, they know that it's useful, so they enable the U-turn. But to be the kind of organization that enables U-turns, you have to tell yourself the right story. Some organizations think they're playing chess, but it turns out that's a terrible analogy. If you move in unconventional ways, you might win. We need a better analogy. How about an elite fighting force, like the IDF or the Navy SEALs? How this works is that they are empowered to do anything that they need to do, provided they stick to one principle. They must understand their commander's intent. Once you're in line with the goals, do anything you need to do in an innovative, creative way in order to get there. Try this thought exercise. Take the steps right out of your process and ask, how would Captain Kirk do this on the Enterprise? He says, computer, do the following, and there it is, instantly. That's called ideal end usage. How would that look in your world? It's not the steps that matter. It's the end usage that is actually the point. Elon Musk is very good at this. He communicates the goals, he gets the walls out of the way, and he asks his people to talk to each other from beginning to end. And that's how he's able to get rockets out into space 10 times cheaper and 10 times faster than NASA. So it's actually fairly simple. Are you a NASA built on bureaucracy and rules and therefore blind to the external world? Or are you a Tesla, a SpaceX, built on imaginative debate and therefore agile? A little unorthodox talent can also go a long way. Ever heard this one? You're overqualified for the position. I can't even make sense of that. we need diverse thinking within our world, and we need to allow people to try and to fail. And there are clever ways of managing that so that you don't do damage to your business and your brand. But innovation is messy, and it's necessary, and it's the rule breakers who own tomorrow. Here's one thing to remember, and it's very simple. They're your rules. You can break them.